Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I want to talk about street protests, the effectiveness of going out onto the streets, into towns and cities and protesting what is going on in the UK at the moment. Now, unless you're living under a rock, you know that there's certain groups of people that are arriving in inflatable boats across the English Channel, and the government are catering to their every need. They are putting them up in some of the nicest accommodation, some 5-star hotels in a lot of cases. They're even paying for things like music lessons. So this has actually been reported in the past. Now, if I want to learn how to play a musical instrument, the government ain't going to pay me for me to do that. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to have to get out there, earn money and pay for it myself. Okay? Now, with the kind of caveat that certain people do genuinely need help that are fleeing war zones and that, but that out the way, the majority of the people that are coming in these inflatables are chancers, basically. They're economic migrants, and in a lot of cases, more often than not, they are an absolute danger to children and women and children, and probably even some men and things like that as well. And they make the communities that they are housed in a lot less safe. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of bad language in that here, because I did that in my last video and I'm pretty sure that's how I only managed to get like one view. Bad language, YouTube don't like bad language, so I'm not going to use bad language. But I'm wanted to talk about people protesting in the street. Now, I don't know, I've never really ever been into a protest. I've never attended a protest. I don't think it really makes any difference. I really don't. What I think it does do is put you in danger of being hurt, basically. Even by the police. The only protests that I believe do work are things like the Antifa and the BLM, Black Lives Matter and things like that. It's always the protests that are on the left side of politics that seem to be tolerated and like sometimes even encouraged, and there's been some police have even taken part in those kind of protests. But if it's a patriotic protest, if you're protesting against your community go down the absolute sewer because of certain dangerous people from the dinghies moving in, and the government, let's face it, they don't care. They do not care at all. They're not going to help you. They don't, any sense of patriotism or identity or nationalism on our part is akin to Nazism in their eyes. So the only people that are allowed to have their group identity are the minorities. That's just the way it is. So protesting, I just think's pointless. What ends up happening is that like I say, the only protests that are allowed are the ones that are on the correct political side. Anything to do with patriotism or any form of national identity or wanting to stand up for your countrymen it's a no-no, basically. The police will be out in force. You'll probably, worst case scenario, you'll get tear gassed. You might get tasered, get hit with rubber bullets, depending on, I don't know, depending on how things pan out. Now, I don't condone violence of any sort. I'm not a violent person. I've never really got into fights or anything like that. I don't, like I say, I'll say it again, I do not condone violence. Nobody should become violent at these protests or anything like that. But at the end of the day, right, if the police take a dislike to you, I mean, I seen a clip on the internet where it was a big bald guy, right, and the police just, I don't know, I can't remember if he moved towards the police or what, but the police guy just moved towards him and just belted him in the face with his shield and apparently knocked a tooth out. Is that what you want? I mean, I guess that you could say that the guy got off lucky, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the police are out with things like rubber bullets and all that, and a lot of the police are unhinged these days. You get hit with rubber bullets, hit with a taser, tear gas, your eyesight's at risk. But there is something you can do. You can't obviously fight back, but you can invest in a Kevlar vest, like a stab-proof vest, like a Kevlar protective suit. It's likely to resist the barbs of the taser, do you know what I mean? So, I mean, it covers your torso and that, so unless they aim for your legs or something, but I'm sure you could come up with a solution to protect your legs as well from taser barbs. Rubber bullets, I'm not so sure. I think unless you're a pretty stocky person, but even if you're like Kevlared up, I think you'd probably still get knocked over and still be in a bit of pain. And as far as tear gas and PAVA spray, you can get like full face respirators that protect against toxic chemicals and things like that. So, I mean, you can't obviously fight back, but you can resist their nauseous sprays, you can resist their taser fire. Rubber bullets is doubtful, but if you are kind of suited up or whatever, it might be a bit less painful, but at least your eyesight's protected, your breathing's protected. It's just a precaution, do you know what I mean? I don't know how much like a Kevlar suit would cost. It's obviously not cheap, do you know what I mean? But obviously it's not classed as a weapon because it's a protection thing. It's like a stab-proof, barb-proof, for like the tasers and that, do you know what I mean? The barbs wouldn't be able to penetrate it just the same as a bullet wouldn't, do you know what I mean? And obviously the respirator will resist the PAVA and their tear gas and whatnot if they decide to fire that at you. So you need to be thinking of things like that. If you really believe that protest is going to change things, non-violent protest, and you want to get out and express yourself on the street, make sure that you're protecting your body, protecting your eyesight, protecting your breathing, do you know what I mean? Because, like I say, a lot of the police, they won't think twice. I mean, there was a clip on here on YouTube a while back of the whole lesbian nana cop that basically went up to a whole bunch of people that were just standing about, like, and she just was like running up to them going shh, 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 just properly blasting them with PAVA spray, man. It's mental. And to this day we don't know if there's ever been any action taken against her. It looked like it was the same police officer that set about that autistic girl because she said, "You look like my lesbian nana." So protests, like, I don't think they achieve anything because, I mean, like, you can get out and start shouting, but like, the government are not listening to you. Do you know what I mean? So they're not going to listen to you. So the bottom line is, right, if you feel that you need to get out and express yourself in that way, make sure you're taking the proper precautions, your full face respirators, and I don't just mean like a dust mask or anything. It's got to be like covering your eyes and all that, and you can look into it, Google chemical resistant full face respirator and things like that, do you know what I mean? Look into like your Kevlar bodysuit that protects your torso. I doubt very much the police would get away with tasering you in the face, do you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe they would. But I don't think a respirator will protect against that, but I very much doubt that it would that they would go down that route. But then again, you never know. But so you're protecting your eyesight, your breathing, your torso, and obviously you'll need to think about your legs in case they target your legs or whatever. The police are brutal these days, guys, so make sure that you are properly protected if you decide that you're going out to express yourself. And obviously don't be violent, do you know what I mean? Because even if you are suited up, you're going to suffer in other ways, and you're going to lose your liberty, and you're going to end up in jail and things like that. So just be sensible, guys, yeah? I just thought that's something that nobody's ever mentioned, like Kevlar vests, full face chemical resistant respirators and things like that. Like I say, I'm not sure about the efficacy against rubber bullets, but at least you'll be protected from electric torture and PAVA and tear gas. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, guys.